Welcome to Audiotree Live. It is November 7th, 2023, and I'm your host, FINGY. Before we get into today's session, I just want to let you know that not only are we on every single streaming service you can fathom, but everything that goes down in this studio goes up over there. I also urge you to subscribe to our channel. The more of you we have, the more of this we can do. It's a positive reinforcement loop, and overall it's just a good time. But without further ado, I'm super stoked to announce we got some sinking sonics from North Shore, Vancouver. It's Meltt. Take it away, boys. Oh man, might I say I'm loving the sound choices we're using right now. You got that awesome. I don't know what patch is that in that synth.
That's a little Arturia soft synth thingy. Yeah, with some little tasty delay on there.
Right. No, it has a nice click to it. You have that whole perk. That whole. That's right. And then that. Bass said that. Then on that first track, the Do You Ever Wonder, is that like a natural vocal sidechain you're doing, or is that
it's like a sidechain LFO on the like downbeat of the bars. So
and
it's
that's
just always flat.
Is that in that rack or off of that synth?
It's actually just running through our laptop. So it's all it's all pre like
we got big into LFOs for this.
Yeah,
this
hell yeah,
the reverbed out LFO vocal style. A lot through this album actually, a few times at least.
Okay, shout out. No, I love it. It's adding a nice dancey vibe to this psychedelic tone we have going. And, you know, with all things psychedelic, set and setting is very important. And Chris, you said in an interview that the right environments give you the right emotions, and I resonated with that. But I was wondering, musically, when you're trying to create or output a certain emotion, do you return to, like, do you have a setting that you try to go to typically to create, or do you have multiple settings for multiple different emotions that you're trying to emulate?
I guess for me specifically, I can't speak for everybody, but when I'm making demos, I think I take inspiration from things I've done and not necessarily the space I'm in when I'm doing stuff. Because the space I'm in it's inspiring in terms of there being a lot of like music equipment around me and like gear to like, if I have an idea, I can just go down a wormhole and do things. But I find that I'm just kind of fishing for stuff and kind of just letting things flow out as they happen by chance or nature, whatever it is. And then later on reflect on maybe why this thing sounds like that way. And then work the lyrics towards what makes sense within the music from there. So it's not like I'm planning like, oh, I'm going to write a song about this, I'm going to try that. Like specifically, it's more like my own reflection on what I've done for my stuff anyway. Yeah. And then try to work towards that way.
Is there like a physical setting within your house or within your city where you're like, I'm kind of hitting a rut, let me go to this environment to do so?
I think we all can say this place in BC called Tofino. It's like a small surf town on Vancouver Island. That's like a really great place to go camping. It's one of my favorite places to go, especially in Canada. So that's honestly a really good place to reset your brain and just kind of relax and take inspiration from nature.
Beautiful.
There's lots of other stuff. I'm sure James could say some stuff too, but
yeah. Where do you create, James?
Tofino's a big one. That's a big recharger. But yeah, it's kind of like Chris said. It's like we go to these places and then bring that back with us, and then we're just kind of in our bedroom studios. But it's always like nature things, like going up into the mountains and stuff. Yeah, there's one time where there's this mountain near our house called Cypress Mountain, and I like brought my amp and like a bunch of pedals up there, and then I figured out you could like sneak into the little chairlift thing at the top, and there was power in there. So I like went camping up there, and I like opened up the door and like plugged it all in. And I was up there for like 2 days just jamming, but like that was the most inspiring spot. But you can't do that all the time.
What are the odds you find a literal power supply at the top of a mountain?
I knew it was there.
Whoa.
I didn't go up there with the amp just hoping. I knew it was there.
Yeah. No, guys, I was gonna say, I'm like, wow, you went with like an amp and all these pedals, like where you gotta plug them in? Yeah. That's wild. Do y'all have a spot that tops that, or have you also jammed at the top of this?
I have not jammed at the top of a mountain, unfortunately, no. But for me, there's like this creek forest area by my house where I walk my dog, where I found I've often gone and just like music will be in my head and I'll get my phone, I'll be like singing into my like voice notes app and stuff like that while I'm walking my dog.
Oh, I love that. What
nice.
About you?
Very serene.
I would say probably there's two places recently, I guess, like for lyrics. In my mom's backyard, she has a little Japanese garden. Oh. So that's a good spot, and have like a little meditation rock on top of just outside of it. Mm-hmm. That's a really good spot to like meditate and get inspiration. You can see the mountains from there, and then the other place would be Stump Lake, which is a cabin just in the interior of BC. Yeah. My family has a little cabin there, and it's super serene and quiet. And anywhere there, like the woods or just on the dock or the deck, like it's a really great place to just like focus on lyrics or whatever you want to kind of get inspiration from and just quiet out. There's not much service there, so you really got to just disconnect and kind of connect with yourself. So.
Yeah. No, I'm like geeking because earlier when they were loading in, your license plate says like beautiful British Columbia. I'm like, okay, branding, like that's
our tagline.
That's a bold statement. But now I'm like hearing about these like magical mountains and Japanese gardens and lakes. I'm like, damn, maybe they're kind of right. And nature is a reoccurring theme in a lot of your music. Have y'all gathered a little bit of coin and taken a musical escapade to like B&B it and just shop out an album? Is that something that's a typical experience for y'all?
That is exactly what happened for
Yeah?
this album. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because we were starting to write around early 2020, and then, COVID happened, and we were staying with our families, and we were isolating and trying to be safe and everything. And we just needed to be together to write. We had all started demoing on our own, and we had all these ideas kind of built up, and we just, we found an Airbnb up north in a place called Gun Lake, in BC wilderness, this beautiful, serene, crystal clear mountain lake surrounded by like epic peaks and stuff like that. We didn't really know that was going to be the case, but when we got there, like, oh my God, this is perfect. So most of the album, like all the ideas came together there. We all shared everything there. We worked on everything. Basically, Eternal Embers as it is now is born there, essentially.
And that's not like a typical thing. Like Ian said, that was kind of born out of necessity to be together in an isolated place during the pandemic.
But now
it was certainly an
do
amazing,
that.
it was certainly
so
an amazing
great.
place to actually do it, and it was something we discovered. Like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we were super productive too, because there's just
it was just
the
It was
studio.
living and breathing.
eat, sleep, music for 12 hours, eat again, maybe watch a little TV show, music for another couple hours,
Yeah.
repeat.
No, and it shows. I mean, or it hears, it sonics. I don't know.
Audible.
Yeah, there's like a little.
It's audible. It's audible.
It sounds.
That's cool.
It sounds. It sounds. But let's get a couple more sounds. Yeah.
do it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
quite cinematic, might I say. I always appreciate a song that lets the tale slowly release. Beautiful. I know that film is a very large part in y'all's creation of music, and I was wondering if it differs member to member what it is about film that is so inspiring. Is it the narrative aspect, composition, color, editing? What is it that helps inspire y'all?
Yeah, I think it can be kind of different things. Like sometimes it'll be like the story of a film that like inspires something. Like our title track "Into the Blue" is all about I watched this movie Jago: A Life Underwater, which is all about this like Indonesian freediver who's like keeps diving deeper and deeper, and then eventually he's like really afraid to go deeper, but then he gets to the bottom and his ears burst, which sounds terrible, but then he's like he like unlocks the ocean is like his words, so you can kind of free dive everywhere. So I thought that was like a really cool metaphor for like facing your fears and stuff.
What's that movie called?
That's called Jago: A Life Underwater, and it's like a documentary. It's like about the guy. It's not really like a story, so like fictional. But then there's other things where it's just like something can just be inspiring, like the visuals of it. Like I like a lot of Kurosawa movies, and there's like another song that's Another Quiet Sunday, which like just kind of like as a way of making the music fresh as you're working on it for a while. I would like look at these movies and like the really like stark imagery, and like a lot of them have like these natural elements where like nature is always a big part of it, and like the force of nature and stuff. And it can just be inspiring to like you try to translate what you're seeing into like an audio thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, but like I think of like some of the solos in that song as like clashing, like this is gonna sound way too cheesy, but like almost like clashing swords or something. I don't know. It's like there's something like visceral about it. I don't know.
Yeah. What about y'all?
I feel like, I think I definitely take from film as like visual inspiration, especially probably myself. And also like, I think physical environments I'm in really inform some things I do. Like scuba diving has been a thing that influenced some stuff I was working on this album, I think. Like the feeling of like an infinite like ocean, like you go on like a cliff of a reef and it just goes down forever. And this feeling of floating over this like infinite, feels infinite.
So that's where the LFOs are coming from.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that I think kind of trying to evoke the same feeling through audio is like a fun kind of thing to try and do. That's something I could say, I guess.
Very cool.
More physical experiences than probably films, though, for me.
I agree with that. I think what Chris and James said just about evoking something sonically that you could see visually is like a big one, like just the translation of those two mediums, sensory inputs. You know, it's like a cool challenge, and you can kind of see something that triggers a chord emotionally, or usually it's emotional. Like for me, like there's a lot of films that make me like super emotional, and like if you get that feeling through like a visual and representation, you can kind of like what kind of sonic partner like ship would go with that, and that's for me like that's always cool to see. I think we don't like consciously try to make cinematic stuff, but I think some of the stuff we make is quite cinematic just based on that inspiration, I think.
Beautiful.
I don't have a specific example.
Said yes and no. I feel that one of my biggest pet peeves is when people start movies but then like don't finish it. They like pause, like, oh, we'll finish the rest later, and I'm like,
I cannot do that.
No, it
I'm
feels
invested.
no, it feels so wrong, and I feel like that has also been normalized, that concept in like music consumption, because we live in like a playlisting singles era, and albums aren't like sustainable in our industry nowadays.
Yep.
But I was wondering if y'all had certain no skip albums, because I know you specifically are album bands. You like to listen all the way through. You respect the work as a whole. So specifically with you guys, I was curious if you had any fan favorites.
There's some that we always put on where like we gotta listen to this front to back is always like the War on Drugs records, because I feel like they're just so like like I don't even know. I've listened to those albums like hundreds of times, but I don't even know like the song names because I put on the first track and I just go on the journey every time. That's a big one.
I'd say for me specifically, James and I were actually just listening to this in the van yesterday. Exile on Main Street by the Stones is like one of my favorite albums of all time. I love that one.
I'd probably say Currents by Tame Impala is like probably one of the most non-skippable albums for me. Just every single song is just absolute banger.
Yeah.
Trying trying to think of an older one.
In Rainbows, Radiohead. It's another good one.
I agree.
True.
Yeah, there's too many options. But I mean, an album I love is Lonerism by Tame Impala as well. I got to see them just play that whole thing front to back at Desert Days last year, which was like a spiritual experience. So that was pretty amazing, front to back, perfect experience. So
Yeah. Was
There's
their
tons of
lighting
albums,
insane? I know they're like known for.
Yeah, there was a lot of. They brought out the big guns for the visuals and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah,
That's
honestly,
real
Tame
cool.
Impala in like 2015 was still one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
It's like Lonerism plus like my favorite singles from Currents and it's spectacular.
I feel like I had a bad introduction to Tame Impala because I went on a date with a man in flip flops, and then
That'll get you.
and then he sat me down in his room and explained who Kevin Parker was for 2 hours.
And the Tame Impala was one guy.
Yes, he only talked about Kevin, and we had gum here like a little bit ago. So I was like, I know. So I was like, dang, like, so it took me a second, but now I can concur. I do appreciate Tame Impala a lot, but I appreciate you guys too. So like
we
maybe we
appreciate
can
you.
play a little more music before we sign off.
Okay. Let's
Hell
do it.
yeah.
Let's do it.
so much, Meltt, for coming here, sharing your talent.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's a dream for us.
Of course. Thank you so much to our crew for getting this done. You're so swaggy, and I love you. And thank you guys for watching. We really could not do this show without you. By the time you're watching this session, it is already on every single streaming service. So whether you want to watch on YouTube or you want to listen on Spotify, be my guest. And yeah, subscribe if you can, because it really helps us out, help us help you. And yeah, that's about my time. My name is FINGY. Thank you for watching. Catch you later.